That's not classy. I'd never let my wife or girlfriend go out like that. I would never wear that. They need to put on more clothes. Your partner let you post that? She's asking for it. It looks slutty. I'd never post that. How these statements reveal more about you than about them. You come across as insecure, jealous, ignorant, or outdated. Negative remarks are unnecessary and revealing. They don't reflect morality, values, or standards. They merely expose your discomfort. So let's cut the foolishness. This mindset is played out. Sometimes it's good to retire old ways. These mindsets show up in both women and men, but are often directed at women. When someone reacts negatively to how one dresses, it is rarely about the clothing itself. Strong emotional reactions to how someone dresses are often rooted in projection. You don't have to dress the same way. You don't even have to like it. But maturity means allowing others to express themselves without trying to shame, control, or belittle them to soothe your own discomfort. Other people are allowed to dress how they want, even when their choices don't align with yours. Instead of policing how someone chooses to show up in the world, ask yourself why their choices trigger your urge to judge. Growth comes from examining your reactions, not from trying to manage someone else's life. Let's move on to a general list, not to specify any gender yet, explaining why someone else's outfit may bother you. And following it, I will give gender-specific examples and reasons. Hi, my name is Joannis, and tune in for more on YouTube at La Peachy Rebel. Let's get into it. Why someone else's outfit bothers you. In every scenario, the discomfort belongs to you, not to the person wearing the outfit. Personal and emotional reasons. It clashes with your personal taste or aesthetic. Next, it reminds you of a bad memory or past experience. Next, it challenges how you see yourself or your identity. Next one, you have low self-esteem or poor body image, and it triggers insecurity or negative comparison. Maybe you dislike your shape, your proportions, your weight. Maybe you were bullied for your appearance. Seeing someone confidently dress in ways you wish you could triggers jealousy or discomfort. Next, natural curves, skin, or nudity make you uncomfortable. Next one, you associate certain styles with a painful past experience or someone you dislike. For example, maybe you associate a person dressing in tighter or more revealing clothes with a bad experience, such as being cheated on by a partner. Perhaps they cheated with a girl who dresses this way, so now you are mad at a way of dressing when the way of dressing is not the real issue. No way of dressing makes a person a slut or cheat. That is a choice that they make and act upon, regardless of how they dress. Next, you think you can stop your partner from admiring others by criticizing how other people dress. That's unrealistic. Humans will always find other humans attractive. If you cannot handle that truth, you may have unrealistic expectations. Next one, you were or are in a controlling partnership that restricts or suppresses you. This dynamic limits your self-expression and can lead to projection. when the inability to dress yourself freely is displaced onto judging or policing others' clothing choices. Social and cultural expectations. You were raised in a religious setting where dress code were tied to shame, fear, or a toxic purity culture. Next, it conflicts with cultural or family norms you grew up with. Your parents raised you with rigid rules about modesty or taught you their version of what classy looks like. You grew up in a strict, controlling, or abusive environment where clothing was policed or self-expression was not allowed, and taught that certain styles are inappropriate. Next, it breaks social rules you've internalized. It doesn't match what you expect for the setting, perception, and communication. The outfit sends a message you interpret negatively. You misread the intention behind the outfit. It feels attention-seeking to you, even if that wasn't the intent. It communicates values different from yours. It disrupts what you consider normal or familiar. Environment and context. It seems disrespectful to the occasion, in your opinion. Next, it stands out strongly in a setting where you feel blending is expected. Next, it affects group dynamics, uniformity, coordination, theme, control, and boundaries. It challenges authority or rules you believe should be followed. Next, you expect conformity in certain environments. Cognitive biases. First impression bias. You judge before knowing the person. Next, projection. Attributing your feelings to them. Next, moralization. Turning preference into right versus wrong. All right, and now let's get into gender-specific reasons. Men criticizing women. Common phrases. She's asking for it. I'd never let my partner go out like that. Now let's get into the whys. 1. Lack of self-control. Instead of taking responsibility for their own urges or desires, they project blame onto the woman. 2. Toxic beliefs. Ideas like women shouldn't dress a certain way are often learned from family, religion, or culture. 3. Insecurity and jealousy. They may feel inadequate or powerless, so shaming someone else feels like control. 4. Projection. How dare you dress that way and make me desire you? Is a common internal thought masked as moral judgment. Emotional maturity means you can notice, think they're attractive, and keep it moving. That's it. No drama, no blame. When someone lacks maturity, they may feel attraction and panic instead of taking responsibility for it. They may fantasize, fixate, or feel uncomfortable with their own urges, and rather than dealing with that internally, they project it outward. Shaming a woman becomes easier than controlling their own lack of self-control. Blame becomes a convenient distraction from personal accountability. It is not a woman's job to regulate someone else's thoughts, urges, or behavior. Expecting women to manage men's impulses is lazy, dishonest, and rooted in avoidance of responsibility. If you are triggered by your own thoughts, that's on you, period. And now for women. Women criticizing women. Common phrases. That's slutty. That's not classy. She needs to put on more clothes. Why? 1. Comparison and insecurity. Feeling jealous or inadequate about their own body, style, or confidence. 2. Internalized societal standards. cultural, familial, or religious teachings about modesty or respectability. 3. Fear of judgment by others. Sometimes women police each other because they believe it's socially safer to conform to norms. 4. Projection of unattainable ideals. Criticizing someone else can be a way of reconciling their own desires or style restrictions. Female criticism often comes from self-image struggles, internalized norms, and social comparison. Partnerships and attraction. No relationship eliminates attraction to other people. Humans will always notice other humans because attraction is completely normal and healthy. It exists whether you are single or partnered, whether you acknowledge it or deny it. And regardless of how much or how little someone is wearing, if you believe policing clothing will stop desire, admiration, or fantasy, this is unrealistic. If that reality feels unbearable, the issue isn't someone else's outfit. Again, it's your expectations. Partnerships, cheating, and projection. Clothing does not make someone promiscuous, immoral, unfaithful, or classless. Let's be clear. If a person feels they are unable to control themselves because of how someone is dressed, that is not a clothing problem. That's an accountability problem. In other words, it's your problem. Mind you, in the history of cheating, many people who were conservatively dressed have still cheated. Clothing doesn't determine character or fidelity. Choices and behavior do. Reflection questions. Before judging someone else, ask yourself, why do I care so much? What exactly is being triggered in me? Who taught me these standards? Am I confident in my own body and choices? Who decided what classy even means? Do looks determine a person's character? Can a person dress classy and be a terrible person that does terrible things? Can a person dress revealingly and be an amazing person that does incredible things? Do I struggle with desire, urges, or self-control? Do I feel guilty for finding others attractive? Do I believe clothing invites bad behavior? And if so, why? Do I have any authority or role in managing how others dress? Does criticizing someone actually benefit or improve my life in any way? Inner work and evolving. Inner work is powerful. Growth requires questioning what we were taught and recognizing that not every tradition, belief, or value we inherited is necessarily healthy or meant to last. You don't have to adopt every value, belief, or rule you were raised with. Many traditions, cultural ideas, and family teachings are outdated, unhealthy, or even harmful. As adults, we have the power to keep what serves us and let go of what doesn't. Let people dress how they want and focus on managing your reactions instead of restricting someone else's choices. Grow, evolve, because true maturity isn't about controlling others. It's about mastering yourself.